Hi, it's Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I'm doing the video I promised you. And what I'm doing right now is starting to sort through and put them into kind of piles. And like stuff that's going to be chain, and then the charms, as I take it apart, the charms will get piled separately. And I'll take apart some of this stuff and sort it all out. I've still got all this to go through, and then I pulled a little bit out of my drawer, and I'm going to pull some of that stuff out. So I'm going to get it all organized. I'm going to cut the necklaces, take the beads, get them kind of piled up, and then get everything ready to go. And then we'll figure out what we're going to make first. But I've got to get all my materials organized. Stuff like this might have wire in it, so you might have to use a wire cutter. So the first thing you got to figure out is if it's string or is it wire. And then once you figure that, this one looks like string, but or it could be fishing line. But you got to kind of figure it out. And then once you figure it out, you can just cut it, pull everything off, and then you can sort the beads into piles, like all the leaves in one, the purple in another, and the seed beads I'll probably put aside in a little cup. I'll get a little tiny cup out to put those in. So I'll get all those sorted, and then stuff like this, I'll just do a little pile of miscellaneous beads, because I don't want to sort every one of those out. Same with this one here. I like the idea of using some. It's funny how even just sitting on a tray they can manage to get themselves tangled. But this one, I really want to keep some of these sections together, because I think it would be fun to use some of these. And yeah, and these are definitely glass. You can see tiny, tiny little flea bites like glass beads get. But it'd be fun to use some of these as their own pieces, like a bracelets or sections of necklaces. So I'm going to break it all down and show you how I broke it down and what I decided to do. And when I come back, then it'll all be broken down for you, and I will get started on the first project. Okay, I decided that I would show you because I figured you might want to know exactly how I do some of this. And some of it's just as simple as cutting a thread. And you can see that this is an older piece, and you can see, and I would definitely use a bead mat for something like this, because when they can scatter on a shiny, smooth surface. Now, I think that's wire, so when in doubt, use a wire cutter, because you can always, if it doesn't cut because it's string, you can come back, but you don't want to damage a pair of scissors. So when in doubt, use a wire cutter. And then if you don't know where your knot is, you're probably going to get caught on the knot. Yeah, there's the knot. So now I'm going to pull these. These are very old, really cool comic book beads. They're quite neat. And so what I decided to do is take egg cartons, and I'm going to put some of this stuff in egg cartons, because I figured that would be an easier way. Now, if you don't eat eggs, or you have the paper ones and you're not comfortable using those, then just the next time you buy eggs, pick up the eggs in the styrofoam or the clear plastic. But if you don't want to do that, or you can't do that for whatever reason, you can use muffin tins too. If you have like a 12 muffin tin or 2 6s, this will work just as well for that. Now, if I'm not going to use this many, I can take some of them out and put them aside over on my other tray, and just leave out the few I might use. I can always reach over there and grab more, but I want to make sure this doesn't get overwhelmed. Now, something like this piece here is pretty straightforward, even though it looks very complicated. But again, you got to be careful, because you don't want these seed beads scattering. So I'm going to move my tray over, and I'm going to lay it down on the table. And I'm just going to pick an end and cut. I'll just cut between the seed beads and the leaf, like that. Now that was definitely thread. And then I'm just going to, it has a divider in the middle, so I'm just going to start in the middle. Where is it? And just let them all go. Okay. And then once they're all off the string, you can decide if you're going to reuse the clasp. And I actually like this type of clasp to use occasionally. So I'm going to take my pliers, and I always use 2 pairs when I do stuff like this, because it's easier to hold You find where the split is. Let me take off my glasses. I see better close up without them. You find the little split where the ring has been matched up, and then you're just going to pull and get that piece of string off. And then I want to reuse that jump ring if I use this clasp. So I'll just I'll take off that string and then leave it and close it back up. And then that way I've got the matching jump ring for that clasp. And then you just take the thread, and on the back side I'm not going to ever use this little piece, so that can go in the trash. Now once you have it cut, now you've got all these little pieces. And that's when you can sort into your egg crate. So like you can put the larger leaves in one, like this, and the purple beads in one. See? So, and then the little leaves in another one. A lot of little leaves. And the funny thing is, you might not even notice certain elements of your necklaces until you take them apart. Like I didn't notice the green beads. I noticed the purple, which this is a gorgeous purple. And then these kind of flipped over from the other side. Oh, this egg crate is not a good one to use. Okay. I didn't realize it had... Okay, hold on. That's because that's one part of the egg crate that's made differently. So let's go to this one. So I'm going to just start over. This one had like dividers between... This was an unusual egg crate. It like folded into threes. So I think that was one of the sides that maybe folded and it doesn't have as deep an opening. So the beads were sliding around from container to container. So that didn't work. So now let me get everybody in their proper spot and we'll continue. So if you have one of the egg cartons I had, which I think I got at Aldi's, I'm not sure. And basically there was 3 of these that folded. Well, this one, you can see from the top, has ridges that are open to the one next to them. So these are no good. Those aren't even worth keeping for anything. These are deeper, and these have a deep hole that you can store quite a few pieces in. So now I can put the green beads in one. And you can put them in any way that works best for you. If you want the leaves in one. Here's the chain with a piece bead on the end. Well, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to cut off the string again. And I'll just use the wire cutters. Because that way I don't take any chances of hurting my scissors. Oh, I see. I can take my pliers and get in there and open that clamp, maybe. Okay, I'll just use the wire cutters. When in doubt, just cut it. There we go. Now, I like the way that is, and I might use it the way it is. So I'm going to keep some pieces with beads and stuff like that, and I'll put them over to the side. Just like this. This is a neat piece. It's a piece of Rollo chain, and it's got all the different leaves on it. For now, we will leave that alone. I may take the leaves off the Rollo chain later. But for now, since we have plenty of the beads, we can go ahead and leave this the way it is. Maybe use it as a dangle. Maybe take it apart. We can play with it later. But then I've got all the little seed beads, which can be used in a seed bead project. And they're actually a very pretty AB finish pinkish red. They'll go in here. I'll put them in this one. Okay, and then these are really simple. These are just like the other one. You're just going to take, this is definitely elastic, so you can use, when you know it's elastic, you can just use, if you find the knot, which sometimes they're pretty good at hiding it, I just cut it wherever, and I just let all the beads come off, and you will find the knot. There it is, and you just pull. Sometimes they glue the bead, the knot inside of one bead. Luckily they did not on this one, and here we go. So now I've got these gorgeous big rondelles that I can put in one cubby. And then we'll put all these little bicones. Now these bicones are like the ones that are kind of diamond shaped. And if they're kind of flat like this, they're called a rondelle. Okay, now here we have another one. I don't know if this is string. It looks like wire. So we're going to use the wire cutters on that one. And it was wire. And we're just going to slide everything off. It's that easy. And then I've got a jump ring on there that I will go ahead and take the jump ring off, because it's a nice little jump ring. I don't like to throw away anything that can be reused. If you're not going to use it, that's fine. You could throw this jump ring away if you didn't think it was worth the trouble. But for me, I can just leave it on the tray here and maybe use it in a project. I won't close it, because if it's open, then I can just reuse it quickly. Okay. And that's the crimp bead. And then that's the crimp bead and jump ring on the other side. And I can do the same on that one. But I won't make you watch me do that. I'll just put that over here. And then what I'm going to do is, again, take out the spacers and put them in one spot. Now, you can take, if you're going to do this, and so I'm putting the spacers in here, you can take this and organize by color. I'm not going to that much trouble because this is a temporary project. I'm just going to do this for a few days, and then these beads will get put away. So there's really no real reason to sort them really particularly. But you can do that. So I'm putting the reds in here, and these are all glass, and they're just beautiful. Oh, here's another big leaf. And let me see if there's another piece I can show you that's different, so that I'm not just going over. This is the same thing. You're just going to cut and pull all the beads off and sort them. This is the one where you have to cut through all the elastic, and then everything will just slide off. Now, a lot of these charms, if you look, they're hooked to the links of your chain. So it's going to take a minute. I will cut all this elastic and pull this apart off camera, because this one's going to take time and there's a lot of loose beads. So I'll come back and show you that one in a little bit. But I've got a little tubby for all the little clasps and jump rings and stuff like that right there. Most of this stuff is going to be pretty easy. You're just like this one. Here's this one that I cut and opened up the chain. All I have to do is go on and remove these little charms. And so you just go and you get your pliers and you open up the loop and pull it off. Now you can leave the loop open or you can close it. And then you have a bunch of nice little charms you can use in whatever. And let me get another one of these. I got a whole pile. I saved them for when the girls come over to paint. There's another one of those ones that are no good. So now I know to throw those out because they're not even good for paint. And just use these. So all the little charms, I'm just going to put a handful of them in here, and the rest I'll put over on the tray. So I won't make you watch that. Same with this. This will be done exactly the same. I will simply unhook each side. I'll show you on one. I'll unhook each side of this stone. Sometimes it's a pain because it's a little tiny. Okay, there we go. Pulled the one side off, then I'll close that back up just to keep it on the stone. Then I'm going to go to the other side of the stone and open this side as well. Pull the chain off of that side, and then pushing it down like this. This bead is going to move. So you want to kind of push it down like that, so that the beads are down low, and then you're just going to take your pliers and you're just going to bend it back around and just kind of get that. It doesn't have to be perfectly closed, but you just kind of don't want the beads moving around too much. Now these can be used as a connector as is, or you can take the whole thing off and wire wrap the top. There's quite a few things you can do with that. So I'll take all those off. I'll take apart stuff like this, leaving the links on them for now, because you might be able to relink these onto other things, and if you choose not to use the links, it's just as easy to cut them off later, but it's a waste of materials if you decide later you want it to be a connector or a charm and you've cut it off. So I will just take the ear wire off, which is one of these easy ones where they just bend them up, and then this will just be a freestanding piece for now. Actually, what I'll probably do And again, I won't make you watch the whole thing. I'll open it up and take each one off and close it like that. So I'll do that on all those. I'll cut the wire on this and pull all these beads off. And I'll open this elastic up and take those beads off. And I'll do the same on here. Now these are chained, so I'm going to unhook each one of these to make individual charms. And this connector is done very similar to this one. You can see that it might have been the same person that made it because they're similar beads. But I'll leave those. So everything will keep its wire for now. Because like I said, it's just as easy to just snip that wire off later. But if you think you're going to use it as a charm, on a charm bracelet or something, then it's handy to not waste that wire. So I will do that on all these pieces. This one is also wire with chain, and I may keep that chain together just to have it. And I have a black one here. I can just cut it open and take the beads off. This one here, I can take and cut it open and pull all the beads off. So once everything, and this one also is just cut the string and take everything off. So once everything's taken apart, I'll be back to show you the spoils and what I've added to the pile afterward. So I'll be back in just a minute for you, but it'll probably be a couple hours worth of work for me. Okay, we're back. Now, this took me hours to do. It's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I've been working on it all day. But if you're buying these slowly over time and taking them apart, you won't have to deal with that. So I'll show you some of what I took apart and what we got out of everything. It's a lot of stuff. Some stuff overfilled the tubs. And I'll pull back in a minute and show you a bunch of it at once. So if you were just starting out and picked up a few necklaces, let's say you got 10 or 20 necklaces over the course of a short time, and you took them apart. Oops, I moved over too far. And you took them apart and separated them, probably into little bead boxes would be better. And then you buy some head pins and loop pins. These are head pins, or wait, here's the head pins, which they look like a straight pin without the point. And these are the loop pins because they have a loop on the end, and I have them in brass as well. And this is a bunch of chain. Every bit of this is old jewelry. None of this is a new piece. All of this is old stuff that I took apart. Now this bracelet I wanted to show you. I cut the elastic and it made a bunch of little pieces like this. And I took a lot of the charms off, but I didn't take all the jump rings off. So you can harvest quite a few jump rings as well. Because usually if you use a charm in a project, you don't need a jump ring, because you're hooping it right on. So this is, I got a bunch of these chains. I got tons of little bits of chain and big pieces of chain. This bracelet had lobster claws and the old-fashioned type of loops, which you can take off and just jump ring them off. Jump ring them on, I guess I should say. So just lots of this. I left this one dangle together to maybe use as a dangle. These I left the connector hoops on, but that can easily come off if you want to do it on the bottom of a head pin. I always leave it's just as easy to leave those pins in and take them out later, because then you can always change your mind, but then you haven't wasted something. Now this one was a really pretty earring. Well, it was a really ugly earring, but it was a pretty piece of mother of pearl, and it's quite heavy and thick. It's got a hole in the top that you could put a large jump ring and hang something down and make this a really pretty pendant. So anyway, this is, I got some large pendants up here. This was an old piece I took apart that I had, and this is a piece. Then this was just on a chain. Some of these are more simple and basic. Lots of different pieces of chain. And I didn't finish taking that apart. I'll still do that. Some stones that have the two sides. You can use them up and down. And I like to leave this kind of stuff together. You can take it apart if you decide you want any of the little pieces, but it gives you a nice little bauble thing to hang down off of a pendant. So I'm going to set my camera up and we're going to come up with one or two little things. This will not be a very long video because it took me so long to get all the materials together, but I want to at least get something made today, just a little thing, and then I'll be doing many more projects with these pieces. So, and this was it's just a fraction. There's still a bunch of those beads over there, but just so many pretty things. And keep in mind, the more jewelry you do this to, the more the variety you have and the more you can make. I have boxes up there that are all beads. Those aren't, but there's 2, 3 shelves there, one shelf of beads, and then those 2 shelves are all findings, charms, and that kind of thing. That is 30 years worth of collecting. So you can, a lot of those are new beads, but a lot of those are pieces I took apart. So you can really do a lot with some unique and interesting pieces that you've taken apart. So I'll be right back and we'll start on the first piece. Okay, this is something I just kind of put together to give you an idea how quickly you can come up with a design. Now, normally I'd take more time, but I really wanted to do something for you. So this is an old Avon necklace here. This one here. This is so dark. It's driving me crazy. I've got my ring light on here. There's no excuse for this, but there's nothing I can do. This is an old Avon necklace. It looks brand new, but it has one of those spring clasps. I'm going to replace it with the lobster, and I'm going to match up the top right here with this other piece of chain, which I'm going to bring down to here and connect this chain to the black chain with this, and then hang this little red charm right at the top of that connection. Then I'm going to come down and connect to here, and then hang this dangle off of there. So let me put the camera back on the tripod and we'll get started. Okay, I want this bottom to be slightly off center, so I want to pull this top down a little bit and pull this up like this. And I'm going to connect these two together. There's a small jump ring on the chain. Hold on just a minute. Sorry, our dog loves to bark at everything that moves outside, and then there goes my phone. This has been that kind of a day. I'm turning my phone off. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to hook the little jump ring that's on this chain that you would have hooked the clasp onto. And we're going to open that up, and I usually use 2 pliers. You need to have 2 pliers if you're going to make jewelry because it just makes it so much easier. And so I'm going to, hold on. So I'm going to hook this little one onto there. And this was that necklace that was all the different Hobby Lobby beads. Well, some of them might not have been, but I know that I have a couple of those multi-strings that they sell. You just want to get it to lie flat. Now, I normally like a rounder. This is more of an oval jump ring. And then we're just going to hook the vintage chain to the top of this. But I do want to use a jump ring, and I do have one that kind of matches the old chain. Now, when you're doing a piece like this, you're merging a new and an old piece. So I've opened the jump ring. Oh, geez. That happens all the time. I didn't have it opened enough for one. Okay, I've got it open. And then I'm going to hook the bead on. Then I'm going to hook this end on. And then I'm going to hook this little charm on. I forgot to hook the other thing on the bottom. And then I'm just going to, get to the side here, and I'm going to move them together and try to get the edges to rub together. That's the best way to make sure. There you go. Okay, now you've merged two different pieces. Now what I have to, I'll hang this on last. Now what I have to figure out is where I need to cut the chain. So I need to figure out how long I want my necklace to be and how I want it to hang. And since I want it to hang like that, I got to take the top where the extension starts and match that up. And I'm just going to, well, first of all, what I'm going to do is take off this C-clasp and put the lobster on, because it does make a slight difference in the length. Oh no, see what just happened? Sometimes that happens when you take apart old jewelry, is you're going to have jump rings just snap. But that's okay, because I hang on to every jump ring. And you know, it doesn't matter on some of these pieces if they're exactly alike, because the whole point is you're merging more than one piece of jewelry together. So I'm going to put this new old jump ring on the bottom link of the chain. The main thing is you got to make sure that the chain, because see the jump ring that's on there is, I think, too thick to fit through the chain, because there is one on the lobster claw, but that chain is so tiny, I really do not think that will fit through. Let's try it. I didn't realize the lobster claw had a jump ring on it. We'll give that a try. By the way, the end of these pliers are often magnetized, which is helpful, but sometimes also annoying. It will hold on to things sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and we're going to see. I think it's too thick, but I might be wrong. Let's see. Whoop. I can't tell you how many times I drop things because you're holding on to these little bitty things. Will it fit? Oh, I might have been wrong. It does fit. That's why I decided to try it. I try to never assume. I think we all know that saying, right? Okay, hold on. When they're little like this, you sometimes have a little more trouble holding on to the two sides. It's really tough sometimes to get it in there. Okay. It is fighting me like crazy. Hold on. And sometimes they will get a little scuffed. So you can go back and kind of polish it up a little bit or just replace it. Sometimes I've found that when I do that on it, there's like a light finish that comes off, but it's still shiny underneath. And that doesn't look too bad. And if there's a little tiny bit of scratching on the top of the clasp, no one's going to see that part but you. This is a handmade piece of jewelry. You can't worry about do the best you can. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm centering the, see if I can move you back to show you. I'm trying to figure out where I want the clasp at the top. So I'm trying to get let me move you back. Trying to figure out where I want to put the clasp. And then let me put my glasses back on. Then what I got to do is take the chain. This is your extension chain, and I'm going to hook into the loop. So that means I can make it that much bigger. Okay. Now I'm going to take this down to where I want to connect to the chain. And then I'm going to take my wire cutter and I'm going to snip that. Oh, I think that's where that red charm was actually supposed to go, was up here. Now, I can do this two ways. Let me move you back down here. Okay. All right, I can do this two ways. I can put jump rings on here or hook this directly onto the chain. Either way will look fine, but since I was supposed to put this up here, I think I'm going to do two jump rings. So I got two nice little uniform jump rings. These all came off of, see, those are a little bit smaller. I got all of these from the pieces of jewelry I was taking apart. So we're going to we cut the chain off that we don't need, which this can be used for a bracelet or even another little extension piece on something else. Now we're going to take our 2 pliers and we're going to open the round jump ring. See, I always try to use my nail and then I wonder why my nails get torn up. Okay, so I'm going to put this on to the loop. So can you see? And then I'm going to hook on the chain. Hold on. Okay. And hold on. Since I wanted to put that charm on here, it seems silly to open it twice, so I'm just going to open the actual charm up on the bottom, open the loop of the charm up and take it off of there and then close it, since I'm going to loop it directly onto this. So while I have this open, I've just added the chain, which just came off. That chain looks like it's got a broken piece on it. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I got it off. Okay. So I'm putting the chain back onto the jump ring. So I got the jump ring on, and then I'm going to put this little charm on there. So all 3 are on there, and then I'm going to hold those on this side and take the pliers on that side. And then that's how I'm going to do that. Then I got to do the same thing at the bottom. Take a jump ring, and again we got to open it up. Sometimes it's hard to see that little line. And that's one thing I do, is I try to save every jump ring. So again, open it up, and this time put both ends in there. Oh. You got to remember, normally this would be right under my nose, but I can't do it right under my nose and show you. I have to hold it under the camera, which is far away from my nose. So I'm trying to see as best I can with one good eye and one bad eye. I'm pretty much legally blind in one eye, so I'm doing this with one eye. So it makes it a little harder. Okay, there we go. I've got the little red accent, which I thought would look cute next to that metal bead. Now I want to come down here because I wanted to add this little tassel on here. Now, if I was going to get fancy, I would change out these beads, but I don't want to. I think this matches this piece up here really well. So I think I'm going to leave it as it is. But I'm going to put this on its own little jump ring and hang it onto that jump ring. So I'm going to open this up. Sometimes you just can't, unless you put a giant jump ring, you can't fit everything on one. So I'm going to take this jump ring, I'm going to put this on there like that, and then I'm going to put this jump ring through it. Now we'll see if it hangs right. I might have my calculations off. Okay, and let's see how it hangs. Let me see, I'll hold it up for you. Now remember, I want it to be just slightly off center, although you could just do it like that too. If you liked it better just hanging straight down, you could do that, or you can angle it to the side just slightly like that. Let me see, I'm going to lay it down for you to see. It's really hard to get the camera where I can show you. Let's pull it. Okay, so you can either have it hang like that, or you can have it hang straight down with the extension cord, extension chain, whichever you like best. But I think it came out kind of fun. Now if you want to do a pair of earrings, it would not be that hard to match it with a pair of earrings. Just take some of these similar beads here that I have, and you could just chain them together like this and make a pair of earrings. I've got some little discs like this. Oh no, I don't. They're gold. I thought I had some, but these are gold. They won't go. But you could just take and chain 3 beads together, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. And you start with a head pin. Okay, start with a head pin. because you don't want a loop on the bottom of this one. Unless, well, actually, no, you do want a loop on the bottom of this one. I'm not thinking. I've been working too long all day. On this, you do want a loop on the bottom because you can hook your bottom one. And you're just going to make a link out of this. So this is when you take your little rounded pliers and you're going to, and this is one of those where it doesn't matter which way the loops hang because the three of them just are identical, so it doesn't really matter. Sometimes on flat beads you want them to hang a certain way and you got to be really careful. But on this one you don't. Just kind of got to make sure you get your links the right size. You don't want to make one link really long and another link really short. There's that one. Okay. Now it doesn't match the bottom because they make these really round. And sometimes I can do that. And you can do that if you really want to. And then on the bottom you can take and hang another one. That one you can use a head pin for. And sometimes I'll keep head pins. Like let's say I take apart an old earring that I don't want anymore, or it's a single earring and I'm going to use the beads. And so it might be shorter. Those are the ones I would normally use, but I don't have my head pins out. Those are the ones I'd normally use for a single bead. I don't waste anything. So if you, and I'll show you how I'll use, since I'm not doing that, I'll show you how I'll keep from wasting this head pin. So I'm going to put a bead on here like this. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll it. This is an extremely hard, I don't like working with these really hard head pins. They're just really hard to bend. I think these are going to be too hard to show easily. Let me see. I'll try. Oh, yeah, this one really, you really have to, like that. Trying to get in there to roll it. But you want to also keep it straight. You don't want it to be sideways. So you're both trying to make it a nice loop and make it look nice, right? But you also got to get in there and pull it to the side a little bit and go back and forth a few times until you get it looking right. Let's see how that one looks. Okay, I think that'll be okay. And then I got the bottom open on there. So I'll hang this on the bottom right underneath the first bead. Sometimes you got to open it. You're going to open that. You're just going to hook. It keeps flipping around on me. Hold on. Okay, you hook that one on there, and then you're just going to get in there really carefully and take those needle nose pliers, or I can't remember what these are called, chain nose pliers. Okay, now you've made two. Now you can make this as long as you want. I'm going to do 3. That's what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to take this. This is the piece I cut, and I'm going to roll it slightly. But now this is the head pin I cut, I think, because it's really thin and easy to bend. I'll learn to English here for you in a minute. It's more bendable, let's put it that way. And then I'm going to take and put the third bead on there, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to bend the top, bend it back. But you really want to get nice pliable head pins and loop pins. Those big, thick, really pretty looking silver ones are often hideous because they're really not very pliable. You can see that one just bent so much easier and was so nice. Now I'm going to see which side I want to put it on. I'll open this up. And why don't I leave it open? I always have better luck if I close it and then open it, because then it looks more finished. I know that sounds crazy, like it's double work, but that's just what works for me. If it works better for you to put it on before you close it, that's good too. Now this one's a little chewed up. let's just say that it's not. That's also the problem with some of the really bendable ones, is oftentimes they also, not only are they really easy to bend, but they are easy to damage. I don't think I have a single ear wire up here to even show you what... I took everything apart so well. I don't even have an old ear wire. Oh, here I do. I can take this one off to show you. That way I don't have to go get one out. Okay. Now, do I recommend you reusing ear wires? Not unless they look really, really nice. I wouldn't do it. Okay, that one broke off. Oh, so I can't even show you. Darn it. All right, I'll be right back. I'm so sorry about that. All right, let's throw that away. So I would probably recommend, some of the ear wires are really well made and you can open them. Some of them are not. I just didn't really want to reopen this because it seems to be pretty soft. But we'll just go ahead and open the top of the earring up. Slide the ear wire. You know, sometimes I've found ear wires that are open. And I think that is so brilliant because then you don't destroy them when you close them. You don't have to open them. Okay, that's what your earring will look like. That'll go with this. And I'll make the other one. And then, you know, it took a little bit of time, but not that long. It takes more time to decide what you want to do. But let me turn the camera around. Hold on a minute. All right, here we go. Okay, so here is the piece. I'm going to get my necklace holder and put it up there and show you what it looks like on. Forgive me for not being more organized on this video. I'm new to the jewelry tutorials, so it's going to take me a little time to get more organized. Okay, let's see here. Here it is, sideways. Okay, the lighting in here is terrible. Okay, here it is sideways. You might prefer it like this. It's not going to hang perfect because this is a big bead. So it's going to hang a little to the side, you know. But I kind of like that myself. I like the idea of it being slightly up like that. But of course you can do whatever you want. This little bead, I meant it to hang out here. So we'll just do that, but I can fix that later. And it just, oh, we have a little bit of a twist right there. That's a knot in the chain. I'll fix that. But anyway, I just mainly wanted to show you what you can do. I'm not trying to make a gorgeous piece of jewelry that's a showstopper or anything like that. I just wanted to show you how you can take a single earring, a couple of random mismatched beads from an old necklace, a piece of vintage beaded chain, and a cheap Avon chain with another cheap chain here, and make yourself something kind of fun. And then on the back, you still got 2 or 3 inches. We put on a new, more modern lobster claw to make it easier to clasp and look a little more updated. But anyway, I'm going to list this set on Etsy tonight for anybody that wants to look at it, because the thing about listings is I put 10 pictures. So that way, even if you don't want to buy it, if you want to go look at the pictures, you can. If somebody does want to buy it, it'll be listed. But I mainly want you to be able to look at the pictures. I could do a blog post, but it's actually easier. And I want to list these anyway, just so that if anybody wants them, they can buy them. But I will get the other earring made real quick, and I'll put the set up. And here's what the earring looks like with the... This has been my day. Oh, I'm so tired. I've been trying to get my sleep schedule back on track, and I've not been doing well. Okay, so the earrings will look like this. Oh, darn it. Okay, there we go. So the earrings will look like that. There'll be 2 of them. And then the necklace. And they'll be on Etsy. Because I know I talked about getting off of Etsy, but I can't do anything under $10 on Etsy. If it's $10 or more, I will do it on Etsy. But I will take this knot out. There's a couple knots. I think that one's part of it. But this one is obviously not. I got to unknot that. So I'll do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm going to try to do a few of these videos a week, doing, you know, all kinds of unusual pieces, earrings, bracelets, necklaces, just showing you how to work with what you have. Now, obviously, as you add more pieces, as you add some new beads, you can do a lot more. I mean, right now, with everything I have and that full drawer there, there's no limit to what I could do. So I'm really limiting myself. Although, how can you call yourself limited when you have all of these beads here and all of these things here? You really can't feel that limited. It's really not that, it's not that big of a hardship. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on doing a bunch of these for you. I mean, I plan on doing this going forward, just making whatever I feel like making during the day and recording what I make and sharing with you and then listing it. It's a way to get more of my inventory made and listed, but also sharing, so maybe you can get an idea. You might not have these exact earrings here, but you might have something similar. And like I said, you could take these off and you could put chain hanging down. And I got tons of little bits of chain. Oh, I had a whole pile of the... But even when you take apart a chain like this, but I have a whole pile of little bits of chain somewhere. You could do beads. You could leave some, take some out. You could do seed beads with the same little charms on the end. But I'm just trying to make this one fairly simple and easy. I've been working all day on this, and I'm just kind of tired. But I'll be back probably tomorrow again. I'm hoping to do a little ornament, oh my goodness, ornament video for tomorrow, Wednesday. You'll be seeing this on Tuesday. But I hope you enjoyed it. It's just, like I said, I'm kind of rusty. I'm getting used to it. Now, if you like multi-metal, you can really have fun. Because then you can combine the silver. This is an antique silver. You can combine silver, antique silver, and brass. And I will do some of those as well. This is more of combining antique with bright silver. But there's no right or wrong in jewelry or art. So just have fun. So I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.